Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Open Door. I am Domina. You have entered a safe and sacred space, and I'm glad you're here. Today, Friday, July 25th, is my birthday, and I have turned 60 years old. Thank you very much. Um, I was deciding what I would talk about for my birthday, and then I realized that a couple of months ago, a dear sweet soul, her channel name is The Wild Witch. She gave me a shout out on her channel as one of 13 channels that was under 1,000 subscribers, or I can't remember the number. I think it was 1,000. And I said then that at some point I would pay it forward. So I thought today, on my day of celebrating my birth, I would like to give out gifts. So I want to kind of do what she did, but not exactly what she did, because I do want to shout out channels that I have subscribed to that um, feed my soul or entertain or are just very um, inspiring to me. But I also want to shout out a couple of the bigger channels that some of them help me get to the smaller channels that I recognize. So I want to start off with the bigger channels. I want to start with the big channels first. So I have 5 big channels and I have 5 smaller channels that I want to shout out. So one of the bigger channels I want to shout out is the Water Alchemist. He calls himself the Kobe Bryant of magic. I love this dude. He is confident. He's been in the game a long time. He is very knowledgeable. He shares what he knows. And he does some lives. He does a lot of shorts. He does a lot of what he calls meat and potatoes, where he'll just give us a little hint of something. He'll talk a little bit about it and then he leaves it there. And I just appreciate him. And I'm going to put links to all of their channels in the description box below. I'm trying to keep it brief and to the point. It is my birthday and I want to do other things, but as a gift, I do want to shout these people out. So the other big channel, or yeah, I guess big channel I want to shout out, which isn't active anymore, but I want to shout it out for a reason. So that channel is Wine and Witchcraft. The hosts were Justin Bennett and Brittany. Brittany, I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name. But when I found them, they would come on and they would talk a bunch of shit and they would do a lot of witchcraft talk, but they had conversations and they made witchcraft real. They made the walk real. They made our everyday lives real. And I appreciate that about them. They have since said goodbye to that because they each have their own endeavors that they're doing now. More power to them. And Justin and Ivy Corvus, I'm doing 2 shout outs and one on this one. They have recently come together to do a podcast and they too are phenomenal. So I appreciate both of them. And the reason why I wanted to shout out Wine and Witchcraft was because the next person I want to shout out, I saw on one of their panels that they were doing one night, and she was kind of like semi-regular person when they would do panels and things like that. And that person was Aradia Arcanum, who has since become my mentor. So I needed to give Wine and Witchcraft a shout out for that because that's how I was introduced to Aradia. Aradia, we're like kindred spirits, but I love that we are totally different. We have a lot that we have in common, but we are totally different in our practice. And I have learned so much from her in the last, has it been a year? Oh, I don't even know. Uh, but yeah, she walks on the dark side, and I was interested in getting into the dark side, but I didn't want to have that rigid feeling about it. And she's more free flowing with it. She is more you do you, but I'm gonna tell you what I do and what works for me. And she gives pointers, but she's not saying you have to do it my way. And I just appreciate that so very much. The next person I want to shout out is the Queen Poe. I want to shout out the Queen Poe because, as I said, I turned 50. And what I want to also give a backdrop on is when I turned 50, my mantra that year was, I don't care anymore and I'm going to do what I want to do. So I walked away from Christianity. I walked away from all that tradition and all that um, dogma and all of that at the time. And these people in these last 10 years, over these 10 years, have helped build me up and give me some guidance and give me courage to continue the walk that I started on my own and I continue to do on my own. But I've gathered pointers from people here and there, and there's many. It's not just these 5 that I'm shouting out, but I specifically want to shout them out because within the last year or so, these people have really shared things with me. So the Queen Poet actually, she didn't know it, and I haven't said anything, but a couple of years, I think it was New Year's Eve of 2022, maybe 2023. It's all a blur. But she was the one who started talking about venerating the ancestors coming into the new year. And that got me looking into the hoodoo portion of my heritage. So I have my ancestor altar up here, and I've spoken about that many times. But she was the catalyst for that part of my walk. So I want to make sure I give her a shout out and thank her. I mean, she goes and talks about the new moon and the full moon and different things, not just the full moon, new moon, and those things, but she talks about other topics and just a well-rounded perspective in esoteric, spirituality, that kind of thing. So shout out to her. And then the other person I want to shout out is Paul Wallace, because as I was getting rid of the traditional, he introduced the Anunnaki, and he was talking about, the visitors that came to Earth and those kind of things that he mentioned. And I had started reading books like from Zechariah Sitchin, and he kind of touched on that and then went beyond that. So those 5 channels really have inspired me within these last 10 years, this decade that I have just completed. And I'm thankful to them for that, as I have made strides in my own spirituality, coming out as a witch and talking about my experiences. And while those were the big channels that I just shouted out, I also want to talk about some of the little or smaller channels that I have found along the way that inspired me too. That even though I'm not trying to grow a big channel, but I glean from everybody and a lot of people and a lot of different walks within the spiritual, occult, left hand, right hand path, whatever term you want to give it. I can learn from everybody, and so I also want to give shout out to these 5 smaller channels. The first one I want to give a shout out to is Will Wyvern. I love this dude. I love him because he is who he is and he does not apologize for it. I'm going to link, like I said, all the channels. When you go to his channel, you will see him be who he is. He has his, I don't know if they're tattoos, maybe they are tattoos on his chest, but he is bare chested. He has his robe. He has his he has his getup, and I can tell he is genuine in his practice. He is genuine in what he shares, and he's just raw, and I love that about him. He does I don't know if it's a daily, but pretty much a daily, either a read or he throws bones. He talks about the Sabbaths. He talks about the new moons and the different phases. And I found him last year, around the time right before my mother-in-law passed, when my husband was having a health crisis, and I just needed to hear a voice to help calm my nerves. And he just flashed up in on my feed, and I started listening to him, and he wasn't saying anything necessarily. He wasn't giving spells or anything like that, but he was a confident male figure voice in a time that I just needed to hear a confident male figure voice. And I've been listening to him ever since. So Will, thank you. The next person that I want to shout out is Sophia Brings Light. Again, she came up in my feed. I started listening to her. She was just giving little tips and pointers and just her daily kind of thing. She was going through a time in her life where her husband was going through some health challenges, and she was walking through that process of his transition, and she was bringing light in the midst of a dark time for herself. She wasn't sharing a whole bunch of details, but she would come on here and there in which she would share. And she is a sweet, precious soul that I truly appreciate. Sophia brings light. Check her out. She's like me. She doesn't post a lot, but when she does, it is something comforting. It is something soothing. It is something encouraging, even in these kind of times that we're in. She is not forgetting who she is. She reminds us of who we are, and she's a good voice to have around. So check her out. Another person I want to shout out is Sonia Kimball. Why I like Sonia? She comes on and she shares perspectives, others' perspectives. She appreciates and she gives honor to those who are not like her. She shares about indigenous people. She shares things about other cultures that she's not aware of. She shares things about her own culture. She goes on her little rants when she feels she needs to, and she doesn't apologize for it. And I say more power to you, sister. You keep doing what you do. But it's from a genuine place, but it's not so much that she's trying to educate you. She's educating herself, and she's sharing what she has found out to make us all better people, whether you call yourself a witch, eclectic, whatever you call yourself. It's about learning and respecting others who are not like you and appreciating their walk, even though you may not understand it, you may not know everything about it, but she's going to put it out there and you do with it what you want to do with it. So shout out to you, Sonia Kimball. And the last person I want to give a shout out to is the Bougie Mystic. He's just something super sweet and super cute. He comes on, he shares what he wants to share. He's really sweet about how he shares it. He says it, he gets in, he gets out, and he's done with it. Again, he's not on a whole lot, but when he's on, he just gives you what he wants to give you. He puts it out there. He leaves it on the table. You do with it what you want to do with it, or you don't. But he has given his 2 cents, and I appreciate that about him. The last person I want to give a shout out to, the name of their channel is called Inaslaka. I can't remember his name offhand, and I forgot to write it down. Anyway, he's a brother from another mother. Like-minded. He is Wiccan. He's a black Wiccan. I love this dude. He puts it on the table. And while I don't call myself Wiccan or follow that path, I love his dedication. I love that what he says. And again, he comes from the church too. He comes on and says, you know, when we were Christians, we thought that we had the power and we had this and we had that. And that's how I resonate with him. But he comes on and he also says, if we are really witches, why can't we have that same kind of attitude that we have the power to do and to manifest and to call forth and to believe and to expect? And it's not about faith, it's about believing that we have the power to make it happen. And I love his tenacity. I love that he doesn't take any bullshit. I love that he calls it what it is. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If he can get in line with it, he does. And he gets on, again, he says what he needs to say, and he gets off. So there you have it. I've reached 60. That is my birthday gift to you. Check these channels out. The big names, yeah, we know them. They come up and they hit the algorithm, and yes, they we have more chances than not to see them and to hear them and to be inspired and challenged by them. But I hope that you will check out the 5 smaller channels that I just gave name to and gave a shout out to, because I think that they are worth listening to as well. Whether they're trying to grow a big channel, I'm not, and I don't think they are either. They just come on and share just like I come on and share. But I think that they are worth listening to and spending time with. If you see them come up in your feed, give them a shout out, give them a check out. Like the video that you listen to if it resonates with you. Subscribe to their channels, give them some love, whatever. But I just wanted to give that out and share that really quickly, quickly and briefly, as brief as I could. I'm gonna go run up. It's late. I'm gonna have a late lunch and um, see what the evening holds for me on this birthday celebration day. So anyway, thank you for indulging me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Those of you who have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Peace and blessings to you all.